Hello there, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh my goodness, great to be here one more time. Sorry for starting a bit later than we planned to, but hey, it's an awesome one. Great to be here. My name is Yemi Awosoya Adefajo, and I'm here, as usual. The Jackpot code is live. Okay, so where's my face right now? I always talk about this my face thing that is always refusing to show. Let me pop myself into the picture now. Oh, one, there you go. Aha, voila, there I am. All right, great to be here on the Jackpot code. The Jackpot code today. I'm super excited to be here. As always excited to be on the Jackpot code because I definitely there's something exciting we're going to be talking about today. A beautiful one, and we have a guest, a super duper. In fact, we packaged him for this program. Is that awesome? And we're going to have a lot of fun. Today, we're looking at moving abroad, the psychological challenges, part 2. All right. And we have with us a very exciting guy. I'm going to just introduce our guest right now. This is where you do drum roll. If you know how to roll the drum, let's roll the drum together. I'm bringing in our very own, voila, Dr. Osas. No, you shouldn't come out like that. Let me introduce properly. There you go. Hey, Dr. Osas, great to have you, sir. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know where you are in the world, so I will just say good day. Great to have you on this show.
On the show. Welcome. Rather, it's evening over here. It's after 5.
Okay. Awesome. After 5. Fantastic. Oh, okay. You are with us. You know the beautiful thing about having the webinars and all of them. You really don't know where anybody is, so you could claim to be in somewhere, and it's okay. It's fine. All right. So great to have you on the show today. We're talking about moving abroad and the psychological challenges of the same. For those of us who were with us last week Sunday, we had the same topic, and of course we had the director, the head of the Migrant Resource Center, our very own Mrs. Maureen Ovie, with us, and it was an awesome time. She spoke with us about the psychological challenges from, of course, the migration structured point of view. Today we're having a psychologist in the house. He's a man of many hats. Dr. Osas, mental performance coach and trainer. Dr. Osas, again, thank you so much for honoring our invitation to be here. Yeah? Fantastic. We're gonna jump straight into it. We're talking about moving abroad. I mean, let's come home. We call it about japaring, all right? We're talking about japaring. All right, good. Now, the trend traditionally is on the space of the act of relocation. Everybody is talking about, I need to get out, I need to go. But there's so much more involved with going. Here, the pressure of wanting to prepare yourself to go, of course, the funding requirement of that. And when you get to the other side, the pressure of adjusting, staying in the system. I mean, a lot of people will probably just settle with, I am abroad and bored. Like, I've watched a video of somebody got to the airport, sort of. I was lying on the ground in the airport, it's like a fulfillment when they get to the other side. But, hey, reality begins. What do you think?
Okay, so it's the nature of human being to migrate.
Oh my goodness, we seem to have lost. Okay, you're back. Please go on. We lost you in a minute there. Go on, please.
Oh, sorry. So
Wow. His audio is a bit breaking. All right. So as soon as we're able to get him back, we'll continue with the conversation. We'll continue with the conversation. Just a bit of adjustment to that. As soon as it's in, we would continue with the discussion. All right. Are you back now? Okay.
Yeah, I'll switch my internet.
All right.
Off. Is it better now?
Yes. Thank God we have multiple. Yes, it is. Perfect. Please go on.
All right, so let me just start all over again. So as I said earlier on, it's human nature to migrate. As a matter of fact, migration is as old as the oldest human history. You will always find humans migrating for safety, for survival, for security, and for whatever reasons. So Nigerians are not excluded. People who want to migrate, just like we have the definition of osmosis of the movement of water from place of a lower concentration to a place of a higher concentration. Same thing with humans. It's just the nature of humans. So Nigerians, especially, I would say the youth to the middle age, seem to cut the bulk of what we call the japa in Nigerian parlance. That japa, which has become the mainstay of discussion almost everywhere now. And the reality is this: there are numerous factors responsible for it, and there are different dimensions to it. But the crux of everything is this: Nigerians are looking for security for their kids. I mean, security in terms of educational security for the future. Nigerians are looking for financial security. The Nigerians are looking for economic security. Nigerians are looking for physical or political security. So they are migrating from where they think they are not getting it to where they think they can get it. But the challenge is that the main challenge is that a lot of people are falling victim of what we call the earth mentality, or being a victim of their own brain, what I call amygdala. So due to a level of economic crisis in the country, due to a level of insecurity in the country, due to a level of what I can call weakened infrastructure, like healthcare infrastructure, educational infrastructure, water infrastructure, electricity infrastructure, and what have you. Nigerians are migrating from various cities in Nigeria to cities that they perceive they can get it. Now, this is a function of perception, more of a perception than reality. And in psychology, we always say that perception is the same as reality. In fact, perception can be stronger than reality. So, if you perceive another place where you're migrating to will be a better security for you across board or in a specific area, you will want to go there. And no matter what any other person is saying, no matter what even the data is saying, you won't give a damn about it. You just want to go for where you will find security. Now, someone else may copy you, and the truth for that person may not be your own truth. And therefore, you find some people migrate and they go over there and excel or prosper together with their family. But you find others migrate, but they go there and suffer. So Japa now turns to Japada. You know what I mean by Japada?
Yeah. That's you Japa to, you Japa fro. Yeah. You know, I really love you know, that's, I mean, we must face the facts. And like I tried to say, the element of Japa, like you corroborated, it's not a new thing. Even animals, they Japa at different times. You know, you move from territory to territory, whichever one is better for you, particular season, and then you just, it's okay. But again, we have a reality in our country that everything, you know, whether perception or reality, all combined together. The conclusion of the matter is that things are not just the way they should be. But it's and of course, which allows people to make decisions that involve them going. What we want to also look at again, I mean, it's the element of now I mean, if you qualify, like we always hammer here, if you qualify to go, hey, please, why not? If you have the means to do so, please do so. There's no crime against that. But when you get there, the old setting, the old setup is completely different from what you're familiar with here. You know why a lot of people would say, I prefer to just come back to Nigeria. I want to leave that land and come back to Nigeria because I know I am familiar with Nigeria. Of course, like I said to a lot of people, because Nigerian laws, as it were, is not as rigid as the Japan land they are going into. It's a different. So you want to run away, find a way to run away. But of course, better economy, better system, improved economy, improved system, as the case might be, and all of that. So what goes on in the mind? I would like just help us to understand what goes on in the mind of a migrant in a new country. What are the variables that goes on? Like I did say, somebody gets into the airport, kneels down, rolls on the floor, say, thank God, I am free from the clutches of Nigeria and all that. What goes on in the mind of a typical relocator, as the case might be? Japara, please.
Okay, so I will relate to this question from two dimensions. The first dimension is the angle of achieving the first goal of just escaping from where you are perceived to be a hell or a danger zone or an insecure zone for you. So that's the first angle I want to explain. So by nature, by human wiring, once you achieve a goal, there is a burst or a release of dopamine into your system. Dopamine is otherwise known as the reward hormone, or the hormone responsible for that motivation and mental alertness. So the fact that you are able to successfully escape, in quotes, from where you perceive as an insecure region, where there is no security of job for you, or security of health care for you and your family, or security of education for your kids, or security of economy. Now, to your perceived destination where there is security of all those things, immediately you're landing on in that area, whether through the plane or through any means of transportation. That sense of achievement causes a burst of dopamine into your system. So there's an initial ginger, fired up motivation. But the second angle is this, and this is where the real battle lies. The second angle is this. The human mind or human brain naturally resists change. The human brain naturally resists change. Here are you coming from a land where tax system is a little bit relaxed, where laws, checks and balances are a little bit more flexible, where you are socially connected with people you're relative to, where you're used to the foods and drinks, where you know almost all the terrains. Now into a land where you don't really know many people, where the culture is a bit or hugely different, the foods, the drinks, perhaps the language, where the laws of the land, the checks and balances are stricter or more rigid, where there are different dimensions or metrics for measuring humanity, morality, or spirituality, and what have you. Now, this is a sudden change you are introducing into your system. Something will happen in the brain of such a person. There will be a natural resistance to change. Just think of the time when you try to, say you discover that a new road has been constructed from your house to your workplace. There is an old route you have been using that is not that good and longer. Now, all of a sudden, you go back home from work, you discover that, they've just finished constructing that road and they've declared it open. It's a shorter route and it's devoid of any pothole. You told yourself the evening when you got back home from work that tomorrow morning I'm applying this new route that is new, smooth, devoid of pothole, as against this old route you're used to that is longer and full of potholes. Now you told yourself that evening, but I bet you in the morning on your way to work, most likely you will have taken that old route and perhaps reached midway before you realize, what just happened? I told myself I will follow this new route. Why am I following this old route that is longer and not even smooth? This is what happened. Your brain kicked against it. Your brain is not used to the new route, so your brain resisted that change you want to introduce and push you to follow the old route, even though it's longer. The same thing happens in real life, in every area of our life. Whether it's beneficial or not, your brain will initially resist that change as long as you have been used to a particular routine. It's a survival instinct that can last us for a while, but at a point in time, we need to change. But your brain will initially resist it. And that's what happens to a lot of people. In your brain resisting it, this natural resistance to change, you will experience some emotions that will be evoked from your midbrain. All right? Emotion of fear will set in when you just land into a new land. And this is what happens to a lot of people that migrate. Because of the natural resistance of their brain to changes in the loss of the land, and the culture, in the performance metrics, and what have you. All right? There will be natural resistance to change, which comes with an evoking of different forms of feelings. Feeling of fear, feeling of worry, feeling of upset, confusion, overwhelming, sadness sometimes, anger, and what have you. Now, how you negotiate and navigate these emotions will determine how you successfully overcome the resistance to this change and eventually acclimatize. But it's not everybody that eventually successfully negotiate this. Some people, they sink into depression. I've seen kids that were sent to school abroad, and I have a program for them, and so a lot of them, they develop anxiety issue, depression issue, and they start coping with substances and start taking all manners of substances and further worsening their mental health issues. I've seen even professional workers battling this, battling inferiority complex, self-esteem issue as a result of a change in workplace, a change in environment, being exposed to different performance metrics and what have you. So what I say to people, you got to prepare for all this. You don't just prepare money to migrate. You got to prepare your mind, understand the challenges that will come when you get there, so that a challenge that is prepared for is better handled. A challenge that is anticipated is better handled than the one that is not prepared or anticipated.
Fantastic, fantastic. I love every area of. When you painted a picture of you use a familiar, and then you're going back and you're going home one day, your mind just went to the default. It brings to mind, it's like when you travel out of the country, you wait for like a couple of years, and you come back into the country, if you have the first hit of like, wow, this has changed, your mind immediately goes to what else has changed, though? What else has become different? You want to like, okay, so this road is blocked, this route is no longer visible, this building wasn't there before, this building. So it's a normal thing for you to basically edit your mental captures, as it were, or data bank of all that you have known before. I want to talk about real quick before we go for a very quick break. Talk about the role of enthusiasm. The role of enthusiasm in helping to combat the reality of these psychological challenges. So somebody gets from here, you're already fired up to go abroad. You like everything. You get there, the drive, the push of being a new land doesn't do anything to not show the person to the reality that is going to hit him. I'm talking of losing your vibe. If you get there, you're like, oh my God, would your enthusiasm, the drive, the zeal, does it have anything to do with, would it be able to cater for the reality? Yes, please.
All right, so I will take a leaf from a popular quote credited to one of the greatest philosophers and psychologists in the last couple of years, Jim Rohn. He said, motivation may kickstart a change, but it takes a change of habits to sustain it. Motivation may kickstart a change, but it takes a change of habits to sustain it. The reality is this, like I explained earlier on, the first angle to migration is the fact that you feel you have achieved a goal. There is a burst or release of dopamine into your system, the reward hormone, that makes you feel motivated. It is a mental alertness hormone. However, the motivation is just kickstarting your new journey, your new experience, but you cannot sustain it. Like I explained, also the second angle of what you experience when you travel abroad, when you migrate, is that your brain will naturally resist change, and in resisting the change of culture, change of performance metric, change in laws, implementation style and approach, social community nature of style, All these changes, your brain will naturally resist it, and therefore emotions will be evoked. Handling or negotiating or navigating these emotions is not a function of motivation alone. It's not a function of motivation alone. Now we're talking about the resilience skills that you have picked up while you are in the land that you tag or perceive as insecure. Now you need to understand how to handle your emotions, how to be aware of your emotions, how to regulate your emotions, because if care is not taken, your emotions, if they keep running you or you get yourself into that zone of an emotional roller coaster, something will happen to your thinking brain. The more the stress chemicals based on your emotions that you're pumping into your system, the more you start shutting down your thinking brain at a particular level. And if care is not taken, you can get to a state of mind blindness. You just keep living life. Before you know it, you are 50 years old. Yes, over there the
Look back.
government creates an environment that is working, so you will be surviving. But you get to discover that 10 years down the line, 15 years down the lane, you really cannot have a firm grip on what you can say you have really achieved if you didn't negotiate.
Thank you.
So you must prepare for that, because they will be there. Motivation alone is not enough. You must plan for the how to learn to negotiate those emotions that will come as a result of the different policies that are available there. Maybe by talking to people or have mentors over there. You must plan for how to integrate into the community so that you have your social support. You must also plan for how to quickly have what we call the professional network so that they can guide you on starting learning, unlearning, and relearning that you need to do. And these are keys.
Thank you very much, Dr. Osas. Fantastic. I love every bit of it. Thank you so much. Enthusiasm is not enough. I love that quote you gave. Fantastic. You have to sustain enthusiasm with habits. It has to migrate to become habits. Thank you so much. We're going to go for a quick break right now and just watch a few clips, and then we're back to continue with the discussion with Dr. Osas. Please just stay with us. We're back in a few minutes.
Hello, my name is Yemi, and I would love to invite you to join me on the Jackpot Code. The Jackpot Code is your ultimate guide to legally migrating from Nigeria to your dream destination. If you desire to jackpot, we've got you covered. We'll bring you expert advice and insider tips to help you navigate the rules, routes, and resources required to make that dream a reality. Join me this Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Wimo Network on YouTube. The Jackpot Code is brought to you by Wimo Consults in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment.
The National Electronic Labor.
All right, we're back. We're going to watch just another quick clip as well from the Migrant Resource Center. I'm just trying to get that ready for us.
So I'll be asking you a few questions.
All right.
If you have the chance to travel during this election,
Get that
like
ready
to jack
for
part
us.
of Nigeria,
a few
or to
minutes.
stay back to vote, what would you choose?
I'll stay back to vote.
Hey, why?
Because the truth is, jackpine is not really the solution.
The National Electronic Labor Exchange is a unit in the International Labor Migration in the Employment and Wages Department of the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. The centers are information hubs for the public to meet demands of employment, referral, labor rights, recruitment advice, support, and all employment-related issues, with the aim of educating and enlightening the public on workplace and employment issues, as well as ensuring protection and decent work. Our target audience are students, all categories of migrants, and the general public. For more details, email us on jobcenterlagos@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, a National Electronic Labor Exchange, YouTube, a National Electronic Labor Exchange.
My goodness. Okay, so welcome back. We apologize for that. We had a bit of a technical glitch. As always, some of these things when you're going live, you have things that happen. So I'm just going to share my screen right now, and then we are back. Dr. Saz is still in the building with us, and we'll just come back straight and have our discussions. If I can play that little quick clip, I will do. Dr. Saz, welcome. Sorry, can you hear me? Are you back now?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Sorry, it was my turn. I had a bit of a technical glitch. So let's just play this clip real quick from.
The National Electronic Labour Exchange is a unit in the International Labour Migration in the Employment and Wages Department of the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The centers are information hubs for the public to meet demands of employment, referral, labor rights, recruitment advice, support, and all employment-related issues, with the aim of educating and enlightening the public on workplace and employment issues, as well as ensuring protection and decent work. Our target audience are students, all categories of migrants, and the general public. For more details, email us on jobcenterlagos@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, a National Electronic Labour Exchange, YouTube, a National Electronic Labour Exchange.
Hello.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much. Well, okay. Well, so here's the thing: we have a vox pop that was done that we needed to let us see, and that really just seemed to be crashing the system. All right, let's go back. We're back again, Dr. Saz. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing some of your expertise with us. I wanted to go into another section just within the next few minutes that we have left. We're speaking about the element of identity switch. Something when I just spoke about, let me tell you, when I just spoke about this right now, something came to my mind. You know, everybody who normally speaks our Nigerian English, they get abroad and you're like, you spend 1 week or 1 day or 3 days or 2 months, like so you know, you're beginning to form all the culture change, language change. I want us to talk about this a little bit. Identity switch and adjustment, loss of yourself. Let's speak to that quick. Thank you.
All right. So I always say to people that you can't just use a black and white litmus test for judging identity switch. As human beings, we are wired to develop coping mechanisms. As a matter of fact, every behavior is an adaptation, largely an adaptation for an emotional pain you are running away from or an emotional pleasure you are chasing after, you are attracted to. I'll repeat that. Every behavior in life is an adaptation or a coping mechanism for an emotional pain you are running away from or an emotional pleasure you are attracted to or chasing after. So, the reason why I said there is no wrong or right answer to this, all right? Whether you switch your identity or you preserve your identity, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter when it comes to an individual. And I don't see it as whether being fake. When you judge someone as being fake because the accent just changed under 1 year, you don't know the dynamics of experience that necessitated that for that person. For example, if you're working, some of us that are in Nigeria have consulted for 6 months on a job before, whereby 97% of the project people involved in the project are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerians, they are Indians. And I found myself speaking a little bit, in fact, not a little bit, to a large extent, like their pronunciation of English words.
True.
Was I fake?
True.
No. It's a coping mechanism. So you're working in Scotland, you're working in England, you're working in the US or in Canada. These are the popular places Nigerians migrate to. And
you won't even have a choice. You won't have a choice.
Yes, the majority of the accent you're hearing is that. The key is not taking if it will help you to belong, if it will help you to be accepted, it will help you to be seen as be together with them, all right? Or the same standard with them. most likely you will develop that behavior as a coping mechanism for the emotional pain that you are running away from, the emotional pain of being rejected, the emotional pain of not being accepted, the emotional pain of being looked down upon, the emotional pain of being seen as different. Then you, because you want to have the pleasure of being accepted or being integrated into the society, or not being seen as different or being seen as the same level as them. So it's a coping mechanism where, well, sometimes some people now, even when they have returned back to the environment where they are accepted, where they don't have issue with trying to cope, some people still maintain it as a signal that they've returned back from JAND or UK. However, when it comes to over there, most times, largely, is a coping mechanism. The coping mechanism may be genuinely done, maybe not genuinely done, but as long as the goal of being accepted, as long as the goal of escaping from an emotional pain or attracting an emotional pleasure is concerned, behavior will always develop to cope against an emotional pain or to cope.
I want to.
It's the reality of human.
Fantastic. Yes, I want us to mention some of these coping mechanisms. We just round off on that. Some of this some other coping mechanisms that you can suggest to people who are there. But I mean, just to buttress what you're saying, makes every perfect sense. If you get into a community and the people are, they have a particular pattern or style of doing what they do, it's just natural for you to, you have to relate with them. And if you come and bring your own, it's also sudden to them. They begin to exercise you and say, this guy is, but if then you start doing what they do, there's a want, there's a coming together that comes. So it's like you call it, I love the interpretation right now. A coping mechanism, and it makes perfect sense. Somebody at Japan and comes to Nigeria on a visit, why would he drop his Japanese away when he's going back into the system? He will not come back and say, oh yeah, instead of calling chair, it's calling share. He's not used to share anymore. It's now chair, and he's upgrading and becoming, because there's nothing you can do about that. That's his reality. Just share with us. Maybe we take, let's put some figures. Maybe let's take like maybe 2 or 3 more coping mechanisms that people over there. Now you're talking to those who are there who would like to, be able to cope with their realities. Yes, please.
Okay, so for coping mechanism, you must, number one, know yourself. Know yourself. It's an injustice to yourself to know so many people and know little about yourself. And don't be a copycat. The way Mr. A will cope may not be the same way Mr. B will cope, and may not be the same way you will cope. You got to know yourself, how you cope with the weather, how you cope with rejection, how you cope with racism, if there is racism, how you cope with changes in food, how you cope with pressure, how you cope with rigid laws, taxes, burdens, and work. You've got to understand yourself. So once you understand yourself, you can now identify what are your strengths, what are your shortcomings, what are your weaknesses. In your strengths, if they will deliver your goal, fantastic. In your shortcomings, if they will impede your goal of where you have migrated to, then you need to start seeking help. The seeking help may come in form of getting social support, people that can mentor you, or people that can give you the right information to cover up for this gap or this weakness. It may require upskilling or learning certain skills. Some of the skills may be learning certain language. Sometimes you get to a place you never plan to learn a language, but you just have to learn it in order to integrate properly. Sometimes you got to learn certain technology or learn certain ways of doing it in certain culture, and you got to just upskill. I think Tobler, I like the way he put it. He said the literate of the 21st century is not the man that cannot read or write. The literate of the 21st century is that one person that cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So you may have to identify skill gaps that you need to learn. Then also, aside social support, aside things you need to learn, you also may need to quickly have a goal for yourself. What's your goal? And clearly define the goal and identify options available. And don't limit yourself to one option. You may decide that it's a particular industry or field you're going for, but at the initial stage, it may not pan out that way. It may not pan out that way. That's why we're human. We are not God. All right? So if it doesn't pan out that way, what's your plan B? What's your plan C? What other jobs can you be doing in the interim that will serve as ladder to your big goal? Every small goal matters. because it's those small goals that will get you to the big goal. And I always say to people, please know this: you don't climb the ladder from the top. You don't climb the ladder from the top. You climb the ladder from the beginning. So you may have it in your head that this is my big goal, to enter into so industry. At least I'm a manager here in Nigerian bank. So sometimes you need to start from the beginning, and you set a goal for yourself, identify the options, and be steady, small but steady improvement till you get there. And be patient with yourself. Don't be too critical with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And lastly, try as much as possible to stay in touch at the initial stage with the culture you're coming from. Don't let it be too sudden a change. So I've discovered over the years that there's no environment you get to, most environments in this world, that you get to, if you ask questions, if you research, if you are curious enough, you will find where you can get some Nigerian food or something akin to Nigerian food, or where you can get something that will keep you in touch with where you are coming from. So sudden change sometimes may hamper some people's mental state. So make it gradual. Why you went with some foods that are native to you, that gradually you try to research where you can get it. Where you are totally in a strange land, you can't find people to connect with. Technology is there for you to maintain your connection with your family, or people that love you, people that you relate with. This will help you to maintain the level of emotional balance and stability till you effectively integrate into that culture, so that it won't be a sudden shock to your brain.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love every bit of it. Fantastic. Dr. Osas, thank you so much for the depth of knowledge. While you were talking, an idea was just popping in my brain. I think that, if it's possible for everybody who has jackpot, particularly those who are new into the terrain, if there can be some, I'm sorry, I don't know whether the word shrink is applicable to you or to your kind of work, that will be able to speak to them when they get into that territory, for them to just have this psychological support system. I understand family, friends, maybe church and the likes of them, yes, but what they're going through internally, I think it's a task for a psychologist or somebody who is a mental performance coach who can be able to help to balance the system for why they drive what they drive. I think it would be a great thing, because I know a lot of people who are on ground now, and there's a lot of struggles. It's like you're living in it. You got a job. Maybe you just went by job into a territory where there's really nobody there. You have to be living with a colleague in the room there or something just for the next couple of months. And then, but within that time, there's so much you want, and the colleague doesn't even know anything either. And you have to face with the natives who are just telling you, hey, Job, let's go. Like, let's go. It's not let's go I want to hear right now. I need someone just tell me I am okay, I can make it, I can do it. These are the things I need to do. Maybe you can consider doing something like that for those who are new out there, who really are struggling. I'm sure maybe we'll have a talk with the Migrant Resource Center if something like that can be put together that would help those people. Because Jabba Code is about helping to overlap those gaps for those here, for those interested, for those who will get there. I thank you so much for all that you have shared with us today. It's been a fantastic topic. It's been a fact. How do we connect to Dr. Osas? How do we, maybe you can share some way to reach you, please.
Okay, so across social media, my handle is at dr.osszd, dr.osaz, dr.osszd on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. However, on LinkedIn, you can search for dr.osszd or search for my name, Deji Osasono. Then on the website, drosszd.com, www.drosszd.com. You can also check our website.
OSSZ now, that's Z. OSSZ, Z for Z. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. You know what I'm going to do? It's quite possible. I think we're going to have more people, maybe some people, one or two, send in questions that that you might need to answer. I think we should spend maybe one more episode, if you will give us the time, if you're available, to spend one more time with us to dig in a little bit more into some of these concerns of those who are going and those who are there. That's in the Japa land, and those who are Japari, those who are Japari, and the Japa land. So we have. So if it's possible, we'd love to have you. Maybe yet again next Sunday, if it's possible. We'll find out if that is doable. The details of Dr. Osaz, we'll try and put it in the description box. For those of us who would like to get in touch with him and share your. But don't worry, we'll not be there. We'll not be listening to you. Just you and him alone. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Osaz. Thank you so much. We're grateful for your presence. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. So Dr. Saz has been here with us. An exciting time we've had with him today. And I am excited for the opportunity to learn from his experiences, interactions, and all that he has learned. And a bit of it is just what we heard today. I'm sure there's so much more that he would love to share with us. So if we are able to beg him very, very well, I'm sure we might be able to get him to share some time with us next week, Sunday, possibly. Otherwise, we'll get another day for him to come. It's been the Jackpot Code, and we'll be talking about moving abroad, psychological challenges, part 2. Our guests have been Dr. Osaz. Thank you so much for sharing the moment with us. As many of us who would like to get in touch with us, please send an email. You can send it to Wimo Consult at gmail.com. That's WIMO Consult at gmail.com. Again, information will be in the description box, so we can always get that out. You have a question, you have a comment you want to share with us, please just be free. Just put it all up on the comment box, and we'll respond to them. Till we come again next week, the great time we'll be having again next week, Sunday, 5 o'clock. Sorry, we started a bit late today, but it's usually 5 o'clock to about 5:45, there about 45 minutes, and we are done. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Yemi Awosan Adefajo, and I'm the host of the Jackpot Code. We're getting better, we're getting stronger. Invite your friends, share the link the next time we're coming up, and get people to come in. Dr. Saz is going to, let me just say, we will try and force him to come next week, Sunday. So you can tell people you're going to be able to speak with a psychologist. The reality, your challenges you're going through, or whatever it is you're dealing with, you can always talk with him when he comes next week, Sunday. It's been a great time. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best. Have a great evening. Bye.